In an historic ruling, parents of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley will serve a minimum of 10 years behind bars and are the first parents in the United States history to be convicted for their role in their child's mass shooting. We heard from the families of the victims: 16-year-old Tate Meir, 14-year-old Hannah St. Juliana, 17-year-old Madison Baldwin, and 17-year-old Justin Schilling.
This tragedy has taken an incredible toll on our family.
I request that the maximum sentence be enforced, as it will never come close to the life sentence I was given.
We're coming up on 2.5 years now, and I can assure you that the wounds are still as fresh as they were on that tragic day.
I am forever denied the chance to hold her or her future children in my arms.
Gosh. Craig Scott survived the Columbine High School shooting back in 1999, but lost his sister Rachel on that very day, and he joins us now. Craig, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ainsley.
You're welcome. I know this all takes you and your family back. What is your reaction to the ruling?
I think this is a dangerous precedent. I got to speak in Oxford, in their community. It's a wonderful community. But I think that it removes the responsibility out of the hands of this teenager. I speak in a lot of schools across the country and deal with emotional resilience, try to affect cultures of schools and the students' lives, inspiring kindness and resilience. And I think this is a bad and dangerous precedent to take the blame of a teenager who knew what he was doing was wrong. He had a dark motivation for wanting to be infamous, and now they're giving 10 to 15 years to the parents, and I think it's just a dangerous precedent, and I think it's wrong.
Yeah, it's scary as a parent if you see the signs, and clearly if you read the text messages between this young man and his parents. The parents, as they said in court, ignored a lot of these signs. Don't you think, though, that this will get parents' attention, and when their children are crying for help, they'll listen?
I think that's part of the motivation, probably, from the court is to set this precedent. But again, it takes the responsibility out of this teenager admitted in court that he lied a lot, that he was lying. So he was lying to his parents. He was lying to everyone around him. It was his decision that he was making, and he knew what he was doing was wrong. And so yes, I think it will make parents more cautious, but there's all kinds of people that could be opened up to being attacked for someone else's decisions.
Yeah.
And he knew even at 15 years old, he knew what he was doing was wrong.
You know, Craig, I remember the Columbine shooting. I was in college, and this was the first school shooting here in America, and we've seen so many more after that. Were there any signs that the parents of the two guys that killed your sister, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, were there any signs that their parents could have seen?
There were signs. There are always, hindsight is 20/20 when we look back. But the mother of one of the shooters is now friends with my family, with my mother, and she was a special education teacher, a wonderful person, and she had no idea. She saw the depression, she saw the mental health issues, she saw the volatile anger issues. But she could have never predicted what her son was going to do, just like in the case with these two parents. Of course, if they had any indication that their son was going to do a shooting, they would have never gotten him, a gun. They would, all of these issues that have come up. And so it's hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
And I understand the pain of the families, and I spent time with that community, but what this is doing going forward, we need to be very careful. This needs to be a very unique case, if anything.
Yeah, well, God bless your family. Rachel really, she made a mark on so many people's lives. She was such a beautiful Christian young lady, and I remember when Michael W. Smith was there at the funeral. There's her picture. I think she would have been, 42 years old now?
She'd be 42, and she was in the last moments of her life. She was questioning about her faith, and she stepped out of her way in a lot of ways in kindness and compassion. And I share her story across the country in schools to students, and she's really become a role model to millions and millions.
Yeah, she has.
And so, thank you for for that
You're
compliment.
welcome. And thank you for your organization. I know you're trying to prevent this across our country. God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
It's not about agenda. It's not about mobilizing people. It's about dialing for corporate dollars. These two parties have sold the U.S. government and the American people to the highest bidders.